Hello and welcome to Chosen to Be Empowered TV. I am your teacher, healer, and guide, Deneen Joyner. If you are new to this channel, welcome home. If you are coming back again, thank you so much for returning. Today, we are going to continue our discussion and teachings on spirit led soul healing. Spirit led soul healing. If you have joined me in the previous videos, then you are starting to gain some awareness about what this spirit led soul healing is. And just to recap what it actually is a natural, self guided soul healing journey that one would take because they have been living for decades with unhealed, unresolved emotional pain and trauma from childhood. I created this channel for empaths, for sensitive souls, because it is my prayer to literally take you by the heart and to help you reconnect with who you are, the sensitive soul that God created you to be, because you are sensitive for a reason. You were created to be sensitive. And I'm sure, just like me growing up, you were ridiculed about being so sensitive. People didn't get you or understand you. They judged you, they criticized you, they made you feel bad for actually feeling. Is that crazy or what? But that is our reality. If you're an empath, you totally understand what it is that I'm saying. People just didn't get you. And so they wanted you to feel like something was wrong with you when that was further from the truth. The fact is, God made us sensitive because He needs us to be the one, to be the black sheep, if you will, in the family. He needs us to be the chosen one, to literally reclaim back who we are as adults so that we can use these gifts to literally heal the world. There is a calling on your life that God has given you, and it is something that you will uncover and discover once you start to literally um, heal your life and to literally take back all of the things that people once said about you, literally release them and let them go, and to reclaim and embrace who God made you to be, which is a sensitive soul. I am a sensitive soul. I've been a sensitive soul since I was born, and I'm sure that is the case for you as well. If you look back at your life, you will know that there has been instances that you have showed up practically most your life with your sensitivity on some level. And maybe you are at a place right now where you are ready to embrace this sensitivity. You are ready to be curious about all of the gifts that you have, because you don't just have the empath part. There are other things that are associated with being an empath. And it is my prayer that the more that you come here, the more that you are going to grow in consciousness about who you are and start to literally put down the criticism and the judgment and the less than mantle that you have been carrying for most of your life, and literally decide to step into your authenticity as being a sensitive soul. Today, we are going to finish up discussing the foundational elements, principles, if you will, of spirit led soul healing. I'm just going to do a quick recap because we already started that in the previous video. If you go back, you'll be able to start to listen in to the first few principles that I've already introduced to you. But for purposes of where we are today, I just want to name them and give you a brief overview of what they have to do with regards to this spirit led soul healing, which is the work that I do. I literally work with souls who are sensitive, who have literally decided now it's time to um, embark upon a journey that will return them back to their authentic self. So, this spirit led soul healing is literally the most natural way that one can heal and return themselves back to their original self. Okay. The self that God created you to be before life got in the way and told you differently. So, there are principles, there are foundational principles that this spirit led soul healing is about. And it is principles that are literally going to introduce you to a healing journey down the road, self guided. These principles, there are 10 of them. The first one is a labyrinth. So literally this spirit led soul healing is asking you to envision literally your whole heart and soul being a labyrinth, an inner labyrinth. And that from day one, that you literally are growing in conscious awareness as you take the first few steps inward into yourself. So you literally are envisioning and meditating that there is a spiritual labyrinth within you and that you have activated it now that you have given yourself permission to step forward on this healing journey. And so the labyrinth takes you deeper and deeper within yourself. The more that you surrender to all of the things that you once said about yourself, about your family, about your life, it is going to take you further and further inward inside yourself. And so the goal is for you to literally, once you have embarked on this journey, once you have rolled up your sleeves, committed to doing this spiritual healing work, that it is going to literally deliver you dead center to the core of who you are. So if you have the opportunity to actually Google what a labyrinth is, if you don't know what one is, you can do that. And it's literally going to show you there's all different types, but at the end of the day, they're all orchestrated the same way in that there are a circular, it's a circular, um, it's a circle, and it just takes you further and further in. Okay, and you can walk one literally. There are places where you can go and walk labyrinths. They landscape labyrinths so that you can literally walk them. So there's so many ways, but literally, what you're doing is really just encapsulating the purpose of being able to visualize an inward labyrinth, because that is the one that we are focused on with this journey. Literally, everything that you are doing is taking you further inside yourself so that you can learn who you are. The goal of the labyrinth is to do that and to also position you so that you arrive in the center of who you are, which means that you have learned this leg of the journey, everything that you needed to learn about who you are emotionally and how you've been showing up and how um, your emotional genealogy, which we'll talk about later, it has everything to do with what you inherited from your family, okay, what was passed down to you. So what it's going to ask of you now that you, once you arrive dead center, is that you're going to start to now come back out with that new found knowledge about who you are and how you've been showing up. And you're going to have the opportunity to now basically use that information to grow in greater consciousness, greater self awareness. And it's a beautiful thing when you can literally arm yourself with the knowledge of self. Becoming a student of your life is literally, it goes in hand with the labyrinth because As I just mentioned to you, the labyrinth's purpose is to literally take you further and further and deeper inside yourself, meaning that you are learning and growing with every step. So, becoming a student of your life means just that. It means literally open yourself up to learning all there is to know about who you are on an emotional level. Your family. Your family on this leg of the journey with regards to spirit led soul healing, it asks you to literally remove the lens that you have been using to see your family with regards to literally not shaming, because we'll get to that in a minute, but literally seeing them possibly in a negative way, taking on more of the challenges, the dark shadow parts of your family, the things that, as a sensitive soul and possibly a black sheep, would know and realize about people who aren't self aware like you are. So it asks you to remove the judgment lens, if you will, of who you were, the family you were born into, and literally put that aside because it has no place in spirit led soul healing. Spirit led soul healing is all about love. The fact that you are partnering with Holy Spirit, which is the essence of love Himself, means that that is what you lead with in this journey. And it's going to be difficult and challenging at times. And maybe you might even find yourself saying you don't want to lead with love. Maybe these people really hurt you at the end of the day. But what I will invite you to say is that literally that is a mindset change that needs to happen. If you want to heal, then you need to put that mindset, the negative one, to the side. Because as I say to my students, do you want to be right or do you want to be healed? Okay. Then I introduced you to being able to partner with pain and trauma. And so that is a concept in and of itself where literally, instead of you rebuking the fact that you don't want to heal because you're afraid to revisit those painful places in your life that literally took your breath away, you're saying to yourself now with this journey that you know that you're going to have to go back in time to get information that is going to be critical to your well-being. And so instead of working against the pain and trauma, you are partnering with it because you know that it holds some very critical and relevant information that can help you grow again into becoming a student of your life. Today, we're going to talk about some other elements of this spirit led soul healing, which has to do with leaving shame and blame to the side. Literally not even leaving it to the side. We're literally going to bind it and rebuke it up. We're going to ask God to remove the shame and blame that you have been carrying possibly for yourself. If you have been someone who has been told that your emotions are too much or that you're too sensitive, you're a crybaby, or somebody just mismanaging your emotions because it's too much for them, then more than likely you have adopted what they said about you on some level. And I understand that because I did the same thing. When you're a sensitive soul and people tell you that you're not allowed to be sensitive, that your emotions are discredited, then you start to adopt unconsciously the mindset and the what do I want to say? The conditions of the person dictating that you not be emotional. And so with that, your emotional framework starts to become more disconnected from who you are. Later on in life, when you do a reflection, you start to become shameful of basically allowing people to dictate who you are and how you should feel. And there's some shame and blame there, self blame, self shame. And you might even be shaming and blaming the people who actually made you feel less than. This form of spirit led soul healing again ask you to acknowledge that, yes, you've been hurt. Yes, people didn't understand you. Yes, they asked you to not show up in your authentic self, but you're going to grow in conscious awareness that it was about them and not about you. They didn't know what to do, they didn't know how to handle such a beautiful, authentic, raw, feeling soul such as yourself. And so, because they didn't know and they were inferior to your feelings, they made you feel less than. They made you feel different. They made you feel like something was wrong with you. Okay. So, what spirit led soul healing is asking you to do is to remove the mantle of shame and blame from your heart. Okay. So that literally you can move and navigate on this journey freely, not with the heaviness that shame and blame brings. We will talk more about all of these principles later as we actually move forward, but I'm giving you the essence of what each principle is right now. The next principle is a legacy of love, recognizing that before the shame, the pain, the trauma, all of the things that you have encountered on your journey thus far with your being a sensitive soul and people making you feel some type of way because of it, I want you to know that your ancestors had a legacy of love. There was love, there was love, there was love before all of this. It wasn't just the challenges or the ugly, dark shadow things that we tend to focus on instead. But I want you to know this form of spirit-led soul healing will remind you that you come from love. You also will learn from this legacy of love more about your emotional framework as it relates to your family. What literally was your family thriving off of before the challenges? And literally asking you to become curious about that as well. Another foundational element of spirit led soul healing is you becoming a detective. I know when I was little, I often would love different um, things that actually would allow me to um, uncover things and to literally solve things. And so becoming a detective of your life literally is asking you to put your sleuth hat on and to literally become curious about your why. There's a reason why um, you have questions about your life, and rightly so. And so those questions, your why, should be the driving force, literally, as to why it's so important that you do this soul healing work so that you can get to the bottom of your why. Becoming a detective means literally um, leaving no stone unturned, that you're willing to go there. You're willing to ask questions of your family. You're willing to literally do reflection and gain a new perspective, not one of victimhood, but one of victorhood. Okay. Another principle is becoming your own best friend. How many of you, because you are so sensitive, you are the go to? I mean, if anything jumps off, your friends are calling you, they're stopping over, they want to pick your brain because they value you. They know at the end of the day that you are very comprehensive as it comes to your emotions and literally being able to see the bigger picture on things. And you're able to share that because of who you are. And so the same thing goes with this journey. It is asking you to literally give yourself back all of the things that you have given to everyone else as a friend. So you literally become your own best friend on this journey, meaning you may have to take a step back in order to be able to offer yourself this same love, the same support, the same guidance that you would a best friend if they were to call you up and ask you for advice. One of the things that I learned to do on my own personal healing journey was to literally do this. I found that it was harder for me to offer my own self advice or guidance. But the moment that I could say, take whatever scenario that I'm trying to solve or whatever it is that is presented to me at any given moment, and and I say to myself, what would you offer your friend with the same scenario? Boy, like that, I'm able to just rattle off what I would tell her. And the same thing goes with you. So that is something that this journey will often ask of you whenever you encounter an emotional situation from your past that you are being asked to look at and to be able to literally take um, the lessons that you need to master and to be able to apply them so that you can gain greater evolution and elevation on your journey. Becoming your own counsel. Becoming your own counsel has everything to do with coming towards the end of your journey. As you start to gather all of this information about your family, all of this information about who you who you were as a little person growing up into teenhood, into early adulthood, into mature adulthood, you're going to uncover a lot of things that you never looked at before because you never gave yourself permission or the opportunity to do so. I want you to know that what is going to happen at the end of your journey, towards the end, you're going to start to see patterns in your behavior. You're going to start to see patterns in your mindset. And you're also going to start to admire this person for their resilience, for their strength, for their courage, for their ability to be able to navigate the challenges that were presented on your journey all the way up to who you are today. So, being a counsel, being your own counselor, as you would an attorney, if this was a case, you literally are going to take all of the facts that were presented to you throughout your journey, and you're going to literally compile a beautiful, beautiful story that really details who you are. And at the end of the day, you're going to be able to present this person back to you and say, look at the things that you were able to endure. Look at who you are. You're such a beautiful soul. Look at what you navigated, and you're still here. I want you literally to become your own cheerleader. I want you to literally understand at the end of the day how powerful and brilliant you are. And once you become your own counsel, you will be able to effortlessly do that. And you will no longer show up in the mindset of being weak or being numb or feeling less than. The last thing that I want to offer to you today has to do with storytelling. You will become your own family storyteller. This is an art, it's a lost art form, and it is so beautiful. And most traditions, most families have gotten away from having a storyteller in their family. But I'm praying that as you journey forward, as you start to uncover and discover your family story, your emotional genealogy, your emotional framework, that you will start to have these stories literally become a part of your heart. And you, therefore, will become your family storyteller. And you will be able to share the stories that are the fabric of your family with generations to come. It is so beautiful when you're able to not only just pinpoint the painful, traumatic places in your family's history, but you're also able to recount the love, the wealth, the generational wealth, the the history of how you all came to be, and to be able to share those stories with pride. I want all of this for you and more. I want to be able to literally again, be your teacher, be your soul guide, and to give you the support that I know is warranted whenever you decide to embark upon anything new, and especially anything that has to do with healing. I am here for you. I enjoy being able to share with you about not only my own experience as a sensitive soul, but also as a teacher, a guide, and a healer. If you are interested in learning more about my work, please go to DenineJoyner.com, where you can learn more about me, my gifts, my work, how I help sensitive souls such as yourself grow into greater awareness to be able to heal their lives and understand who you are at a more deeper, in depth level. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe so that you are always in the know. This channel is just for you, for sensitive souls. I will return again for another video, and we will be talking more about how to literally be all that you are, all that God has called you to be, so that you may remember and share your gifts with the world. Until we meet again, take care of yourself, take care of your heart, and peace be with you.